Hi Fabian, I hope you're doing well. This is Hari here, and I just wanted to quickly demo how this script would work. So I have my sample sheet here, and we're going to be building a new dashboard from scratch. So, firstly, I've linked these two scripts or I've attached them to the email, but you could also pick them up from the initial post about how to use the scripts. So there are two scripts, one for the map widget and one for the remaining widgets. So I'm just going to demo using the one for the remaining widgets. The first thing that we'll do is go to Tools, Script Editor. Right, let's remove what's written here and paste that script as is. Let's call this push widgets to gecko. Okay, now let's come back to the sheet, and I've shared this sample sheet with you, just picking up the format from there. Let's copy the format for the RAG widget and paste it over here. So you can pick up the API key from the account section. Let's go ahead and create a new widget so that we can get the widget key. We're going to add widget, select custom widgets, the RAG widget. Now you can pick either the numbers or the column and numbers. The script will work with both. Let's select push. And copy this widget key. Come back to our sheet and paste that. Right, so make sure then under the type that you write the type of widget in all caps. So whether it's list or RAG or the funnel widget and so on. So the RAG will remain same. This, let's call this apples as oranges. Right. I guess that's all that's needed. So let's come back to the script now. Let's first save it, and then the main function, let's try pushing that. So when the first time that happens, you'll need to allow access to your sheet. Basically the script needs access to the sheet, and once you give that, the script should run, hopefully without issues. Yep, so it's populated the widget. So let's try changing the numbers 10, 20, 30, and let's run the main function again. Yep, so the script is updated. Perfect. So now let's try, you can have multiple widgets of the same type on your dashboard. So as I've shared in this sample sheet, we have multiple RAG widgets, multiple list widgets, and so on. All you would have to do is copy paste. Let me quickly demo that as well. So you would copy paste whichever is the functionality, right? So if it, or rather whichever is the format, you would just pick up the corresponding format widget type. And so we are using a rag again, so we'll just copy that. Let's make a copy of this widget. Let's pick up the key. Let's paste that over here. Right. Let's 5 0 15. Let's call this Due, overdue, and done. Let's run the script again, and that's been populated. Great. So you will notice here, the you can't give any spaces within these, between these widgets, and if you add any other content which is not part of the kind of format or the template, then the script would start throwing an error. So if you have, let's say, if you were just to introduce a row above, right, so the script will start throwing errors. So make sure that you follow the format over there. Now I also wanted to show you, so you can pick up the remaining um, widgets like the list or the funnel and so on. You can obviously experiment with that and see how those work. I wanted to show how the text widget works because you're using quite a lot of that, and that's of interest to you. So let me pick up just the widget um type from here. So for the text widget, you have the widget ID and the type text, and that's followed by the different, or your payload of sorts. So since this is running a long way, you're not able to see the other option, that is whether it should be an alert or an info type of widget. So let's pick up this one instead, this text widget. Let's paste that here. Let's come back to the dashboard, add a custom widget. Let's choose the text widget. Here it is. Push 2 by 2 size, add widget. Let's copy the widget key, enter that here. Now these will be the actual payloads, the first two, or the list of items in the first column here. So I have picked up some of the HTML from one of your widgets. So the first page, I noticed there were two pages in that leaderboard within the widget. So the first page contained this. So I'll go ahead and paste that. And the second page contained this. I'll copy paste that. Right. So by default, it'll neither be an alert or an info. It'll, if you enter no numbers here, it'll by default be a regular one. So let's have one regular and one alert. I think the one stands for alert, but you can always check in the developer docs later on. Right. So this looks good. Let's try pushing now. Okay, the script has run without any issues, and perfect. It's populated your widget as well, and these were the two pages. Right. So each line of text that you will add here will come as a separate page up till the limit of the widget, which I believe is 8 or 10. Sorry, I'm not sure about that, but you can always refer to the developer docs and find out. So yeah, so if you wanted to add another page, you would do it in this column here, or you would just, if you just wanted a single page, you would append this HTML within this row itself, and the widget would probably display how much ever it's able to fit in accordingly. So, but I guess you're quite well versed with that, so you would know how it works. So now that we've covered how the script works, let's come to automating the process. So we'll come to the script editor, go to current projects triggers. Let's add a trigger. We want the main function to run every minute. You can choose different options available. For the purpose of this demo, I'm just going to keep it every minute. And you can set the notifications. So every time you have a failure, then you can have that sent via email right away, or you can have a combined uh, um, synopsis sent at one time in a day. Usually if you're running it, let's say every minute, um, there will be a few times in a day that it errors. You can simply ignore that, because that, let's say if you're running it every minute, that's 60 times an hour. And if you have, let's say, a couple of errors a day, that's not something to be concerned about, which usually does happen with all scripts. Um, and and you can simply ignore them, and then that shouldn't really affect what you see on your dashboard too much. Okay, so let's add this trigger every minute. Save. Okay, great. So let's try changing something. Let's make the change obvious. So this becomes 100, this becomes 0, this becomes 100. Same here, 100, 0, 100. um let's see how long it takes. Hopefully you don't have to just stare at the video for too long. Okay, still waiting. And there you go. So that's how the automation would work. And it'll pick up all the available widgets and populate it, your all the available data rather from the sheet, and populate your widgets. That's about it. As I mentioned, keep in mind to have just a single sheet when you're running this script. So if you want to have a mapping widget that has a separate script, make sure you create a new sheet with a single sheet tab, and have all your widgets under one single sheet. Right. And the other thing is, when you're filling up colors, hexadecimal colors, or any sometimes else at other places too, like the monitoring widget, even if you enter 423 here, technically it'll work, it should work correctly. But when you have just numeric values, and the widget expects string values, you may get an error, because let's say this number was 0000000. The though it's a hexadecimal code, Google Sheet will automatically pick that up as a numeric value and not as a text or string, and you may have an error because of it. So you could use Google's built-in text function that converts a number, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, into the format that you want. So the hash will simply make it a text and no decimal points and so on. So this will become a string, and the color should work correctly on your widget. I hope that makes sense. If not, you can always ask me, of course. And that's about it, I think. So I hope, yep, this whole video has been useful. I'm keen to hear your thoughts and whether this would meet your requirements and how it goes. And of course, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'll be happy to elaborate further. Okay, thanks. Cheers. Bye bye.